What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Let Me Finish. This is your boy Dom.
This is Greg.
And this is your boy Tone.
The
I
trifecta
know
is back.
we are back. It's been a week. We've all been so busy, so we missed you all for 1 week, but we're back and better than ever. How are you guys doing? What's going on?
Whew.
Yeah, we're back. We had to go live some lives so we could come back and talk about it. We were running out of things to say. I've been good. I just had family leave yesterday. It was my parents, my niece, and we saw Barbie. And
No.
I did not wear pink. I did not wear pink. And it was a good time. It was, it's with any like we don't have kids, none of us. We might have kids someday, who knows? But your nieces and nephews, they grow up so fast, and you kind of get sad
Yeah.
that you're not part of their lives, and then they get to that age where they're like not as happy to see you and stuff. So I had about 24 hours to like bring out that little kid that loved me, and I think I passed.
I don't think I own any pink now that I think about it. As I sit in
Yeah,
my
No?
and
closet, I don't think I
it's
own any
weird
pink in here.
because I feel like there was a time in my life where I had a couple pink shirts. You know what I'm saying? Like it was
I
cool. It was
remember
like the Abercrombie days.
Yeah.
yeah, I remember even like pink was kind of a thing in like the hip hop culture for a little bit. So for like a hot second when Cameron wore pink. But
Yeah,
actually
but
I got
he's
a
the only
couple
one I
pink.
can think of though that was like wearing pink heavily.
Yeah, he made it popular for a little bit. But I got a couple pink t-shirts in the closet. Like nothing crazy, but like well, it's kind of like pink but also kind of salmon. So,
Oh yeah,
I
I
got a
got a
couple
salmon.
couple pieces.
Okay, no, I got salmon. Yeah, I got a couple salmon pieces.
Yeah, salmon's like the masculine pink. It's like, it's pink but it's.
Yeah, it's like pink, but I'm not like proud of it. This is just I'm salmon.
Not proud of it.
I'm
Always
not
be
proud of
proud,
it.
Greg. Always be proud, Greg.
It's
Y'all
pink,
don't
but
read
I'm
too
still a
much into
bro.
that. Yeah, it's pink. It's like almost like, oh yeah, this is kind of pink. If someone said it, you're like, oh, I never really thought of it as pink, but yeah, you're right.
It's
How was
like
the movie
so
though?
pink.
It was good. It was actually really good. It was funny and it was smart, and there were a couple times it was just very had a point of view. It was woke, if you know what I'm saying. Like they really tried to unpack a lot of like what Barbie's represented in the harm she might have done to young girls throughout the
Mm.
fucking last 50 years or whatever. But every now and then you're kind of like, okay, we get it. They said patriarchy like 27 times I counted. And on top of that, my niece, who's 9, she didn't laugh once. And my parents, they laughed a couple times, and they're a little bit more on the conservative side. But at the end,
So,
everyone was like, yeah, we liked it. So, I mean, for
Okay.
everyone to have just been like, okay, it was good. I think that, but there was definitely rowdy people in the audience. You're all going to see Barbie.
Mm,
I don't. I'm not against it. I just don't really care. Like, even though like they've done amazing marketing this entire
yeah.
6 months, I just don't really have any reason to see it. So I think I'm okay.
And for
Yeah,
me, it's like I definitely want to see it, but I'm gonna wait until it comes out in like digital or streaming to watch it. It's not something I'm gonna run out to the theaters to see.
Yeah,
And I feel like okay, so here's my feelings on it. Yes,
I know. You said you had a bunch.
they did a very great job like advertising this movie, especially the lead actress and everything. But I just can't get behind so many people supporting this movie for the wrong reasons. There's a
what do you
lot of
mean?
people that are supporting Barbie to cause a hindrance but- against the Little Mermaid, the whole ordeal, and the Little Mermaid being black, and people not wanting to support that movie because the lead actress was a black woman, and they're not
I haven't
used
heard that.
to. Yeah,
I haven't heard
it's
that
been
either.
like it's been a huge thing going on. There's a lot of Disney got a
All
lot of
right.
backlash for changing the color of the skin of the Little Mermaid, even though she's a damn mermaid. And there were people not wanting to support the film, and people were upset that it did well, as it did, and was like one of the like um, biggest openings, that weekend, and people are going out supporting this Barbie movie because it's a white woman playing Barbie, and it's there
All right.
going out to
So
support this. So
I have a question though. Okay, so this is where I think the world of I'm assuming you're getting a lot of this from social media that you look at. Is that kind of where you're seeing it from?
yeah, and news platforms and everything. Um,
Okay. This is where I'm intrigued by what our algorithms show us because I have honestly seen none of that. So I do remember the controversy with the Little Mermaid, her being black. So I do remember that, but I haven't heard anything about as far as like people going to see it in contrast. So what the part I've heard is the conservatives are calling it woke. So when Greg said woke, I was like, I've heard a lot of conservative people bashing it, saying it's too woke. So I've heard that argument about the movie, and then people seeing it because of the conservatives. So I haven't heard anything about the comparison of that and Little Mermaid. So
mm,
it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting what our feeds are giving us and what we're seeing because I didn't see that.
yeah,
I didn't see
for
that.
sure.
And on that point, like I don't think I knew the Little Mermaid was coming out, but I never feel like I saw like previews about it. It's just
The
somehow I feel like
marketing,
Barbie got a hold of the algorithm in a way that the Little Mermaid didn't, and I think
Hmm.
they just
yeah,
like marketed the hell out of it. I think it
yeah.
was a little bit more like edgy and supposed to be a fresh take. I mean, of course, when you draw the line between that comparison, it is kind of like, why didn't the Little Mermaid do well? Um, I guess in my mind, the live action Disney remakes have always kind of been weak in my opinion, and I think a lot
They're
of people didn't go because they've just kind of been like, okay,
yeah.
the same thing.
Hmm.
I just haven't. Same thing about like I haven't heard anything about the whole people are going to see Barbie to make Chloe Bailey look bad. I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it has been a narrative that's been out there, so that hasn't made me want to jump out there and go see the Barbie movie
Respect,
opening
respect.
weekend. But we know the
Oh,
gays are
I'm
going to go
sorry.
out there to see it.
But real quick, because Issa Rae's in it, is she good
Hmm.
in it? Like in
Yeah,
Barbie?
she's funny. She has some funny
Okay.
moments, but it's very
Okay.
like it's cut so quick that you don't really kind of nobody gets a lot of screen time. So,
Got it.
Okay,
but she was definitely the funniest of the Barbies. Yeah, for sure.
I love Issa.
Besides,
I really
I'd
do.
almost want to see it just for her. I'd almost want to see it just to be like see her
Yeah.
role in it because she was in the Spider Verse movie and that was kind of fire. I didn't know she was in that. So
Oh yeah,
oh
she that
yeah, I
movie
didn't
that
know
movie
that.
was so good,
I saw it
so
twice in
good.
theaters. I was high both times, but I saw it twice.
Wow, you just be going to do shit, Tone, and not invite us, just like you're going to New Orleans this
Well,
weekend
Yeah,
and not.
yeah. Go ahead and tell us about your weekend. What you
Yeah,
have
tell us about
planned?
your
What's
big
going
birthday
on?
bash a month
oh my
before your
god!
birthday for your
All right.
big momentous birthday year.
So for the people who don't know, my birthday's coming up in I guess a couple weeks. It's August 10th, right? And historically, I've never been a big birthday guy. Now, last year we all did a cabin trip. That was like a big thing for me, like to plan a trip and have all my friends come at the same time, and it kind of worked out, except for one situation which we won't discuss.
I wish we
Um,
could. We should have a Patreon
Well,
where we get
we
like
need more.
really deep.
We need more
well,
subscribers first.
well. Two things didn't work out because Greg also didn't get to come, unfortunately.
Oh
So
no, the other
Well, thank
thing.
you for counting that as something that didn't work out. Some might say that it did work out because y'all had more space, and I still paid.
Uh, I owe you. I owe you drinks, Greg. I owe you.
You got me that
So
fruit trap meal for my birthday.
well, I still owe you some more. Uh, but yeah, so I have a birthday coming up, and okay, let's give some context here. Probably about I
Please.
think it was either early July, a couple weeks ago, or late June. I sent out a group text to our group text, our large group text, about hey, I want to go to New Orleans end of the month, and I think at the time nobody could come because our other coworker, our podcast hosts here have prior plans, so they could not go. And so, but my other two friends could go. So I'm going to New Orleans this weekend, and yeah. So I think some people feel left out, even though they were not left out. They were just not available to go on this trip that I could
I
not change the date on.
I want to. You could change it. That's the thing, and that's the thing. You sent it out to the group chat, and you said, "Hey, does this weekend work?" And then you went and picked that weekend, anyways, but it didn't work for you. So I'm just
So
saying, have so much fun in New Orleans, eat all the beignets, but you should have framed the text as, "I'm going to
I'm
New
going.
Orleans August whenever
okay,
3rd."
so that's a mistake I made. So I should have
July
been like,
3rd.
so I
Yes.
should have been like, hey, this is the weekend I'm going. This is the weekend I
Yeah.
can go. So I didn't phrase it that way. So that is I will gladly take that as my fault. So
Okay,
I,
that's all.
so,
That's all we needed to say.
and I do want to
We forgive
apologize to
you.
my friends.
We
Thank you.
We
And
forgive you.
forgive
again,
We,
you.
we want you to have a good time. We would never not
Yes.
want you to have a good time, but
oh
I hope
no,
it's hotter and smellier than usual.
oh, it's gonna be hot, and I'm gonna have like, I'm gonna buy a bunch of these little $5 Walmart T-shirts because I'm gonna sweat through everything. So yeah,
And we know that we can all travel well together. I mean, we've traveled before
and we had no
together, and
issues.
Yeah,
that we had a really great time. So it would
we
have been
have.
fun.
It would have been so fun, and we have not traveled with Dallas and Ireland yet.
Yes, not yet.
So that would have been fun because last
Yeah.
time we hung out, it was a turn up, and we haven't had a pod since then. So I think that was kind of a fun night we need to talk about, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
we're gonna talk
let's.
about
Yeah.
that.
But let's try to plan something soon. Like next couple months, like a little group trip would be kind of fun.
So for me, I'm leaving on Wednesday to go to Disney. Everybody knows it's a trip that I've been talking about for a couple of months now. We leave Wednesday morning, and we're going to be there until Sunday afternoon, I believe. And we're going to spend 5 days there. So it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't been to Florida since 2 years. It's been 2 years since I went to Florida. That's where we went to our beach house 2 years ago, and now we're going to Disney World. So it's going to be fun. We've been shopping and getting stuff together, and we're going to be packing tonight. So we're all ready for our trip Wednesday morning. I think our flight leaves at like 6 a.m. And of course, I had found out that I have a sinus infection, guys. So I'm battling that right now.
You
So I apologize
sound
if you hear me cough at all.
you sound surprisingly. I was the only one that coughed, and it's because I took a hit. But you sound surprisingly great for somebody that has a sinus infection. Because
Thanks. I appreciate it.
people usually sound like kind of stuffy and like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I definitely feel better. I'm still coughing a little bit, getting rid of some of this mucus and stuff. I actually I had been coughing and everything for about a week and a half. And then last Thursday, I was like, let me take a COVID test. So I took a COVID test and it was negative. So I was like, okay, well, it's not that. So then I went to urgent care Saturday morning, and that's when they were like, no, you have a sinus infection. So we're
Um,
going to put you on some steroids and some antibiotics and take this for 5 days, and hopefully you'll start feeling better. So
why
Love
are
steroids.
why are COVID tests still a thing?
That's why I was like, that would be if you got a COVID
It's
in the
I
2020
year
mean,
of our
already.
Lord
I just wanted to be safe, and especially with a trip coming
Safe
up,
from what?
and I know that I'm going to be around, my mom and my niece and my sister, and I'm going to be around Memphis, but I don't want to expose anybody while
COVID
I'm
doesn't
traveling. So,
exist
oh my
That's
gosh,
responsible. It does exist.
anymore. It's
it
not a
does.
no,
It
no.
still exists.
COVID is just a cold now. It's literally the same thing we've been getting for years.
You're giving Joe
2023.
Biden way too much credit. There's some.
I just
And
wanted to
Wait,
do my due diligence, do my part.
I mean, you
Um,
pretty much have to at the ER, like the minor emergency, anyways. That's like the
yeah.
first thing they ask you if you want a COVID test. But you got prednisone.
Hmm?
You got prednisone. Is that what steroid you got?
Oh, I have no idea. They just prescribed me 2 pills and some nose spray, and that's what I've been doing for the past 5 days.
I
Well,
love
since Saturday, since I
prednisone.
went. So
You're gonna get this point where you overcome your sickness and you still have prednisone, and you're gonna keep taking it, and you're gonna feel like a superhuman. You're gonna edit this episode like so fast.
thanks, Greg. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it. Apparently.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I'll
Um,
buy some.
so what else do we need to catch the people up on? Oh my gosh, shut up.
I'll buy some.
So what else do we need to catch the people up on? I know that we talked about hanging out with Ireland in Dallas. 2 weeks ago? We had like a little
Yeah.
house gathering.
Was that the podcast we did like right before we went
Yeah,
there?
we
I
did
think
it
we.
right
Yep.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we went, and it was a turn up. I haven't
It
had
was
that much
fun.
fun with y'all in a minute, and it was like actually, it was
Oh,
literally 7 hours long. Like from I went home and it was like 1 a.m. and I was like, I got
well,
there at like 6.
some of us slept there.
Yeah, me and Memphis passed out there.
Yeah, I did too. I think we all went to bed at the same time, but I woke up at 6 a.m. and went home because I had to do shit.
Oh
So
wait, Tone, you spent the night too?
I
yeah, but
didn't
I
know
woke up
he
at
stayed the night.
yeah, because you were passed out drunk. I mean, you were
Yeah.
passed out asleep. You were. It was so cute. You were on a couch. Just you
You
were in your
were at one
blanket.
point. You actually like rolled over and kind of snuggled with me, like I was Memphis, and Memphis was like babe, 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 like basically like get off, Greg. He sounded a little threatened. I'm not gonna lie,
Oh my
You sh-
gosh.
Greg out here trying to steal people's bands. Apparently,
Mister Steal
Now,
Your
now,
Man. Yeah,
now,
that's for the
now I'm gonna go
Patreon
ask him about
episode.
it. I'm gonna ask him about it when we finish and see what he says. Because I
Okay.
didn't know that. I don't remember Greg leaving though, so that's one
no, he
thing.
yeah he
The
left
thing
early.
is, I shouldn't have left. I should have had it. We should have
You
made
should
it
have
a
stayed.
sleepover.
You should
Yeah,
have
we
stayed.
should have for sure. We need to do that again. I would love to host next time
Yeah, that was
and
fun.
you guys to come over. And I like how it was like an intimate setting, like with us, and not like a bunch of people.
Bunch of
It wasn't
randos.
like
Oh
a
yeah, it
bunch
was
of like
perfect.
yeah.
Yeah. No, we'll do
So
it.
yeah.
Can we spend the night at your house though?
Yeah, you can. We have an air mattress and we have a couch, and you can make a pallet if somebody doesn't want to share an air mattress. And yeah, we definitely have space for sure. So we'd love to have you guys over. I can force everybody to play Monopoly with me.
Ooh, I played what is it? Strategy? No, not strategy. Anyways,
I
Tone. You want
love
to play
board
games?
games.
I just haven't in so long that it doesn't excite me initially. So, I can't lie on my face, so I don't seem very excited about it. But
Uh,
I will play. I'll play. You know
oh, let me guys tell
What
you
would
what
excite
hobby
you?
I.
what?
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 What's the hobby you have, Tom?
Oh yeah, like let me guess. So I have a new hobby, guys. So on top of like being an editor for this podcast and being an official cake baker now, I've also added another hobby to upkeep. I saw this lady, like I follow this lady on TikTok, and she like puts together puzzles all the time. And I was like, man, I used to do puzzles all the time, and I haven't done one since I was like a kid. So this past weekend, I was like, I need to go to Walmart and Target and scour for a puzzle. And I'm not some type of punk. Like I'm an experienced puzzle maker or puzzle put together, and I'm not gonna get some 300, 500 piece puzzle. Like I'm gonna start with like 1,000 and work my way up. So I bought this 1,000 piece puzzle this weekend that I've been working on all fucking weekend, here and there, and it's really been like kind of like relaxing. Like I enjoy it because I can just throw on something on TV and sit there and just put together this puzzle.
I have so much
Um,
to say. Can you pause for a second? And I'm sure Tone does too. Puzzles and you're baking now
Dom,
too? And what
Dom,
is
what are
that
yeah,
you
around
turning
your
into?
shoulders? You have like a shawl, like a little old lady. Why are you turning into a little old lady?
it's
Okay,
cold in this closet. There's no circulation or anything in here. It's freezing, and I'm anemic.
me and Greg
Well,
think
hey,
the
it's
same
hot out
thing.
of this closet, so
Dom, you're giving grandma right now.
I'm
Didn't you
bring
mention
me
cold.
like
some
no?
spectacles.
Didn't you mention like knitting or sewing like a couple episodes ago? Oh
No.
Oh
no,
no. Okay,
Dom,
listeners,
you're
he just put on his reading glasses.
No,
He put on his
they're
reading
my
glasses so
real
he can
they're
look at
my
his iPad.
I
Dom. You're the
mean
youngest one here.
Antonio, they're Ray Bans.
That makes
Dom,
it
you're the
slightly better, I will admit.
no.
Maybe the
It doesn't.
puzzle was it what is the puzzle of? Is it a really good thing, like cool thing, like, or is it kiddie?
Um it's
It's a
like
farm.
it's a
It's
pretty
a
good
farm.
one. It's pretty cool. It's like these it's a Lego puzzles, so it's actually like a puzzle that is Legos, but they're like paint buckets and they're different colors next to
Okay.
each other. I'll send it to you when I finish it. But yeah.
You don't.
Don't worry about it.
Y'all need to be more supportive.
You
Y'all really
know,
do need to be more
okay,
supportive.
I will react to it. Like I will love it but I will not actually write words or I will not find an emoji or a GIF.
I think it's really cool. Like I don't pick up my phone as much. Like usually you'll be at home on the couch watching TV on my phone, scrolling TikTok, scrolling Instagram, on Twitter, and it's like, man, like I don't want to spend so much time like wrapped in my phone. I actually want to be doing something, and that's something that I started. I was like, hey, I barely touched my phone. I just focused on working on this puzzle, watching TV, and I actually really enjoyed it. So don't judge me.
How is Memphis
Memphis,
handling this?
he tried to help me. The first
He's
night I
handling it.
started, I was like, "Oh, we're gonna like drink some wine, order some pizza, and you want to help me put this puzzle together?" He was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So he lasted, bless his heart, Memphis lasted a good 30, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, and he was like, "Yeah, I've only put together two pieces of this thing, and I can't figure it out." And I was like, "It's okay, you don't have to help me. I can take it from here." So
I
Dom,
mean,
I'm just gonna say this: if somebody was like, "Hey, can you come over to my spot tonight and let's drink some wine and make a puzzle," I'm probably like going home.
I'll be like, no,
and
bitch.
that's why you're single, and that's why you've been single for a while.
Oh,
So
Tone, it show you haven't put together a puzzle in a minute, and it shows.
if somebody is willing to ask you to come over to
I'm
be
picking solo
intimate
and a
and do
share.
something like
Solo.
that with them, that shows that that person is really into you. And if you just say no because you're just not feeling it, like what if he introduce say, "Hey, you want to come hang out?" And what if he wanted to play board games, or what if he wanted to show you his favorite TV show, and he
Or
wanted you to
shoot,
sit there and chill with him? You would just say
What
no because
What if
you're
he
not
wanted to show
interested
you
in
his
it.
pet iguana, his terrarium with his
Yeah,
tarantula?
what if you wanted to show you his pets? I did it.
the last guy asked me to shoot fireworks.
That's cute. That is. I mean, it's something different. He's not asking you to come over and bang and then watch TV or you leave after that.
I,
Like,
I had to work the next day.
it,
I
oh
mean,
my
what are you going to
gosh,
be too hungover from shooting fireworks? You'll be
right?
fine.
I wake up at 4:45 a.m.
That's
He,
your
he he
fault.
he was a valet, so he has like not a real job and like no structure in his life. So I was like, I'm good.
Drag him. Jeez.
Drag him to hell.
I kind of did because he annoyed the fuck out of me. So yeah.
Okay, so you're implying that if you have enough time to shoot off fireworks and you don't have much going on, ergo Dom putting together puzzles, he has too much time on his hands.
Pretty much. Apparently, I'm not playing volleyball this summer, and y'all know that's like really like affecting me. So it's like
Yeah,
I
you
need
gotta.
to find something to like pass this time by because like I gotta miss being active and doing shit. So I'm trying to like pick up other hobbies. I'm trying,
Maybe,
and
maybe.
I respect it.
that's a good segue into our topic this week. We wanted to talk about how to say no, and apparently it's easier for others on this podcast to say no in different type of circumstances. So that's what I wanted to talk about this week, you guys.
I think that y'all are excellent at saying no. I think y'all are good at saying no.
And you're not, Greg.
I
I'm
mean,
not.
it really just depends on the situation. I used to be really bad about saying no, and as I've gotten older, that has shifted a little bit. But talk more about it. Antonio, let's start with you. Is it easy for you to tell people no or to say no?
So I have phases that I go through, and sometimes I'm really good at it, sometimes I'm not. But what changed for me is that when I went to therapy in the year of 2021, is that when I went to therapy? Yeah. So whatever year I went to therapy, that's when I learned to say no. Because I learned in therapy that I was a people pleaser, and I was so afraid of disappointing people that I would always say yes, and I would over agree to do things. I would be afraid to just say no. So my therapist pointed it out to me. We went through scenarios. We talked about family, friends, obligations. So, yeah, 2021, that summer, I learned to say no, and I went like really hard with no. But for me, saying no has been actually a blessing because um, I actually needed to say no to a lot of things and a lot of people and a lot of situations because I wasn't saying no and I was overextending myself. It's like you don't get the time to work on yourself and take care of yourself first because you're so worried about this person's gonna be mad because I didn't go out or I didn't meet him for dinner or I didn't meet him for drinks or I didn't agree to do this. You're so afraid of it that you spend less time working on yourself. So I saw probably the biggest change in my life by learning to say no in the last couple of years, and I attribute it to therapy. And it's something I still struggle with. It's a back and forth thing. Sometimes I find myself slipping, but then I kind of bring myself back and say, hey, you know what? It's all about you first. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. If you're not happy, if it's causing you turmoil, stress, that weird anxious feeling, don't do it. So I've gotten really good at saying no.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're a
good.
master at it. And honestly, yeah, hearing you say that it was just a recent thing, like, I guess if something happens for a long period of time, like since the last year you've been saying no, you just kind of always assume it was that way. You kind of forget. And I do see a marked difference, but like you are always putting your priorities ahead of not other people, but like that's the number one thing is like, no, that doesn't align with what I wanted to fucking do. I want to wake up at 4:45 a.m. And I
Yeah.
think it's like hats off, literally, but or figuratively, but it's got to be draining to say no, almost, or is it like
So
you're a machine?
no, so that's not the draining part. The draining part is when saying no is not an issue. It's when people like almost demand an explanation for it. So it's having to say no,
Okay.
but then because granted, so the saying is no is a complete statement. You don't have to explain yourself. But so that's something else I struggle with. I struggle with having to explain why I'm saying no to the point where I stopped doing that. But then some people, when you just say no and that's it, it's like, ugh. So one thing I can say that happened is I've had one thing I talked about last year was like friendship fallouts, and that actually happened again. Yeah, that was mostly last year. A lot of it was because I wasn't explaining to people why I wasn't doing certain things.
Mhm.
Um, One situation I can speak about in particular, and it came up again this Sunday, is typically the last year or so, I would spend like a lot of Sundays going to Hidden Door for Sunday Fun Day. That was like a primary social thing. Going out to like the bars and seeing people. And what happens is every now and again, I'll see somebody, oh my God, we don't see you anymore. What happened? And I have to explain, oh, I'm just trying to do things a little differently and, et cetera. And I saw somebody at the gym on Sunday when I went this morning and I saw him. He's like a Sunday Funday friend. You guys know Terrence. You know Terrence? He's like the
No, I don't think
singer.
so.
Oh yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
singer.
Okay,
Oh
so Domino.
yeah, he's
Mhm.
cool. Yeah, we
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
Spider Man with him.
Oh yeah, way back when. Yeah, so
Yeah.
super nice guy. So I saw him at the gym. We talked for a little bit, and I'm like, "Oh, so you doing something funny?" He's like, "Yeah." Or you? What about you? And I'm like, kind of retired from it, and I kind of did like a semi explanation, but I didn't go like full throttle. But what it made me think about is I literally have had other friendships literally end in the last 6 to 8 months because I got to the point where I didn't want to have to explain why I don't want to go out every Sunday or go out on a Tuesday to be for happy hour, or why when you ask me to dinner or something every other day, I get tired of just explaining why I'm saying no. So saying no is not exhausting, but having to explain why that part is exhausting. And then
So
I
people
get
not
it.
understanding.
by extension, saying no is kind of exhausting in a
In
way,
a
but
sense,
it's
yeah. Yeah.
freeing. It's freeing to be like it's you
Yes.
say no and you're done with it. Um,
Yeah.
it's I mean, from a wee young little lad, like even when they were saying just say no to drugs, like peer pressure is bad, like you don't got to be cool to fit in, like you don't got to say yes to everything. I've never been able to say no. I'm constantly like I'm a people pleaser, like I'm a person that like wants to like be part of like what everybody's doing, even if it's not has my best interests in mind. I think there was a period in my life, like definitely my 20s. I lived in LA, which is a very fast city, anyways, and I was
Yeah.
just kind of like I. I mean, it was just like it was a wild time and it was a fun time, but it was like I thought I was having fun, and looking back, I wasn't having fun like for a long stretch of time towards the end. And I think it was my inability to just like because essentially saying no also is knowing yourself. I think like in me not knowing myself fully and just wanting to like fit in, that I said yes. Like no is a power statement of being like, no, that's not what I want to do. That's not me. That's not like I gotta wake up early. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I want to be alone. That's a normal feeling. So I would say yes when I should have said no, and I think that's been something that I've gotten better at it. But it drains me coming up with an excuse. Like it's almost I'm kind of more like a kick it down the road type person. Like
What
Yeah.
does
if
that mean?
we're talking socially, and there's just like, hey, do you want to do this? And like in my heart, I'm like, no, and no, never. I'll be like, I'm always honest if I can't do it, but I'm like, yeah, let's try for like another weekend or something like that. Like I'm not like the very firm, like no, no, not gonna
So
happen.
I have a question.
Yep.
You're you feel like you have an inability sometimes to say no. Does that come from a fear of like missing out?
Um, I think it comes from a just kind of like in the sense of like I'm an impulsive person. Like I don't weigh the pros and cons, and this usually happens when I'm like face to face. It's a lot easier to say no over text. We can talk about that, but I think just in the moment, it's like this really like, yeah, I want to do what you want to do. Let's do it. Like I'm just kind of like go along with it. But honestly, we got to kind of separate like the saying no from the social, or also saying no from like the sexual. Somebody being like, "Hey, do you want to hook up?"
Mm, I get it.
So let me ask you this, Greg. How do you feel? Because as you being the one that you say that you're not as great at saying no, how do you feel when you end up in a situation where you should say no, but you don't say no, and then you have to act or engage on activity? Like, how does that make you feel afterwards when it's like, I don't want to do this, but fuck it, I'm doing it?
I feel resentful, and I end up. I mean, the majority of the time, being glad I did it. To be honest, but there are times when it's just so hard because we're just saying like no as like no situation to situation. Like we have to like really like break it down. Dom, try to break it down for us.
Break down what exactly? That's what I'm not.
Well, so you said like saying no. It's like, okay, so
Oh,
saying no means like you can say no to a lot of different things. So when you ask me if I like feel good that I'm glad that I did it, I'm like, in this scenario, is it a social setting? Is it like somebody asked to hook up with you and like kind of guilted you into it? Is it like even family time? Is
so
it
like you're
somebody
kind of
asking for
almost,
money? Like, is it someone,
yeah. So
I
you're kind
asking
of
think
for
saying
a
it's
favor?
yeah,
almost like serious or like,
we can definitely dive deeper on that because I think there are different instances where it's easier to say no than others for sure, 100%. I think for myself, like I used to be kind of like you, Greg. Like, um, it was really hard for me to say no as I was younger. Like, you could ask me to do something, and whatever it was, I was gonna do it. I could get called into work. Like when I was in college and I worked at Best Buy, they would call me in and be like, "Hey, can you come in and work? We're shorthanded." And I'd be like, "Sure, I'll come." There was rarely a time I said no. And that was because, just like you, I had a fear of letting someone down, or when I was younger, I had a fear of missing out. So, like, I had friends and everything in high school, but we didn't really hang out outside of high school as much. My real close friends came when I went to college. So it was like I always wanted to be around my friends and do everything with them. So it's kind of like whatever they were doing, I wanted to do. Whatever my frat brothers were doing, I wanted to do. So I was always saying, yeah, yeah, I'll do this. Yeah, I'll drive. I'll go here. Yeah. And it kind of like came with me as I like became an adult. Um, and even now, I still kind of struggle with it a little bit, but I'm way better at saying no to people when I don't want to do something, when I don't have an interest in doing something. It doesn't. I'm okay with like saying no and not worrying about hurting somebody's feelings because I said no, or not trying to make an excuse for it. Just simply saying no. And it's been pretty healthy.
what I'll say for me is that the reason it's a lot easier for me to say no is because I'm going to blame it on therapy, or not blame, but I'm going to say because of therapy. I don't have the ability to hide how I feel about things now
Hmm.
like I used to. So if I'm not having a good time, you're going to see it. Um, I'll use one thing as an example, and it's going to go with a narrative that was thrown on this podcast that I hate drag queens, but I don't like drag shows, right? And I've been in so many situations the last couple of years where I end up at a drag show, like some were planned, some were unplanned. And I finally decided after the last drag show at Hamburger Mary's, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to another drag show. I just don't enjoy it. I don't like it. I don't want to spend this money. I don't want to sit there. I hate it. And I said, no matter what anybody asks me, even my closest friends, if they ask me for a drag show, I will say no. I will see you afterwards, before, but I just will not do another drag show because I'm not good about. I can't hide it. If I'm not pleased with something, if I don't like it, it shows on my face way more than it used to. So that's the biggest reason why it's easier for me to say no, because I don't want to be somewhere with a stank face when I
Yeah.
shouldn't have been there in the first place, and then I'm ruining everybody else's energy. My vibe is off, and because if you put me in a drag show, I'm gonna be sitting there like my arms folded, looking at my phone, and when some dancer comes up demanding money, and I'm gonna give a weird face, and I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to ruin everybody's night. Like drag is cool. Y'all should enjoy it, have all the fun. I just don't
What?
want to be there.
I have a question. When did you
Yes.
turn into the little boozy about drag shows?
No, don't do that. Don't do
We
that.
can't talk about drag shows ever again. Ever
No,
again.
do not do
That's
that.
not a topic ever again.
I am not boozy. I'm not boozy.
Oh my gosh.
I want
I
everybody to
mean,
enjoy drag shows, but me.
teach his own.
Yeah, I
No,
didn't know
no.
you felt this strongly about it. Like,
I'm tired of faking, and you know what happens? I always get called out at drag shows because I'm the like
Oh,
straight
you're
looking guys.
hot.
No, because I'm a straight looking guy that doesn't like. I'm not waving the fan, so like yeah, it always happens, and I'm like,
what?
I will say, the one drag show I went with you, it was Drag Brunch with Daryl in Houston.
Yeah, I was just gonna bring that up.
They weren't on you, Tone. They were on me. I'm
They
sorry
were
to tell
on,
you.
they were on Greg the entire
because you
They
were
were
time.
white,
all on me. I don't even
because
think
you
we
were
talked to
white.
you once.
No, remember the guy was like, "What's up, bro?" Remember
Oh
that?
yeah,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, shit like
yeah.
that
So
happens.
were you uncomfortable then there at that particular drag show?
It's not uncomfortable. It's just I honestly don't enjoy the entertainment. It doesn't entertain me,
Oh,
and
okay. I got you. Yeah.
that's all it is. It's not about being uncomfortable. I don't care. It's I get it. It's fun for people. It's a good time. People are
It's
drinking
just not entertaining
mimosas.
for you.
It does nothing for me, and that's the thing
I
about
got
it.
you.
When things don't, like I said, I cannot hide my expressions. Like I'll give you a funny example. I remember early on when I was a kid, I stopped eating at certain people's houses because like we would go to like our grandparents' house or like uh, what would like your mom's cousin be to you? Like I don't
Your
know what you would call
second
them.
cousin?
Like, but no, it's just like your mom's her cousin. Like, what would you call her as? I don't.
Her,
Like a
you,
great cousin.
great
No, there's a
cousin? Yeah, that
no.
seems right.
So
Remember,
anyway,
we broke this down. She's your aunt. We'll just call her
sure,
your aunt.
Yeah.
exactly,
I
sure.
mean, we
I just
normally just said aunt so and so, uncle so and so.
yeah,
It
because
makes it
sometimes it's
easier.
complicated. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I just remember this one time going to our aunt's house, and she just so black people get offended if you don't eat their food. It's like, why don't you want my food? What's wrong with it? And I remember going to her house and thinking the kitchen's disgusting. I don't want to eat here. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm not hungry. I was hungry, but I said no because I knew if I would have ate, I would already had that kitchen disgusting. I don't know what got cleaned. The whole point of the story is like I don't like lying to people about shit. So I'm like, no, I just don't want to do it, and I'll just say it.
Yeah, no, and I probably would have ate like seconds. You know what I'm saying? Y'all talking about more shit. I'm like, oh, okay, work. We can talk about work.
Yeah,
I have had a problem saying no at work. Like
that's hard.
just really just taking when they asked me to go to a trip, like that trip that I went to New York and then Detroit. I was supposed to go home after that, and then they asked me to go to New York after that. And it was just like kind of like, are you fucking kidding me type
Yeah.
situation? 'Cause it was like, seriously, like I have to go back to New York in the same week, and I said yes, and I was just like exhausted afterwards. I hurt my ankle, and it was just like very like So actually, the next Saturday there's a Real Madrid versus Barcelona like football game at AT&T Stadium, and Real Madrid
Mhm.
is one of our clients, so it's kind of a big deal. And they were like, "You got a ticket? It's next Saturday." And I said no to that. I mean, because even
Can
I
I?
wanted to go do it, but it was just like on a Saturday with my coworkers.
Yeah.
Can I have the ticket?
I mean, I'm kind of regretting it. And I'm really like,
That sounds kind
really,
of fire.
but I would have to dress up nice and I would be with coworkers on Saturday. And then I would be
Yeah,
like,
it's not relaxed.
try to talk business and be expected to like bring back, I don't know. No. So I'm getting better at saying no. I think
Good.
after I got pushed so hard, because I think that's kind of what the learning to say no thing about is. I think the lesson in saying no is like people will push you.
Yeah.
People will push you past your limit.
If you let
And if
Yep.
them.
you don't protect your energy, then they will take everything from you. And not even
I
in a bad way, but like a lot of it's out of love, but
Yeah.
a lot of it's just out of like I don't know.
I don't think it's out of love when it comes to any type of work
Oh
situation.
no, that's what no, fuck that. I was getting more on the friend side.
Yeah, but I've struggled with that too, Greg. Like here recently, I've been asked to do a lot at work, and I've struggled with saying no because I love my boss. She's really nice, and she really looks out for me. So anytime there's an opportunity, I'm the first one she goes to say, "Hey, do you want to be a part of this? Do you want to go to this meeting? Do you want to be a part of this team?" And I'm always one to be like, yeah, I'll do it, just because I feel like saying no is kind of like I'm being lazy, or I'm going to, like, I'm letting them down in some sort of way. And if I want to, working in the corporate world, you guys, it's a lot, because it's like a lot of time, in order to get promoted, in order to get exposure, to meet different people, to let them see your value, you have to be involved, and you have
Mhm.
to say yes to some of those things that you may not feel like doing or wanting to do, but ultimately may be the greater good for your career, you know? So I have been struggling here lately, within the last year and a half, saying no to opportunities that come up during work, because I don't feel like I gain much from them. But, you know, next year I'm going to start saying no to some of those options and just focus on me, because that's what I would prefer to do. If some of these opportunities I'm saying yes to don't really do anything for me. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Antonio, do you
dude.
have any struggles with saying no to work?
Um, my work is kind of complicated right now because I work for the company I work for is a huge, huge company, and I actually can't. Well, okay, you know what? There are things I can't say no to. Our job requirements change on like a biweekly basis, and obviously I can't say no to that because that's company wide changes. But there are minor things I can say no to as far as like certain travel aspects of it or doing certain jobs. So I haven't had that issue with this job because it's structured a little differently. Like I technically work for a corporate company, but I don't have a corporate type job. You know, like, I don't work
Hmm.
a set schedule. I don't like I clock in, but I'm salaried. So I don't have like a typical corporate job per se. So it
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily pertain to me as much as it would. But in previous jobs I've had that have been more corporate structure, um, yeah, I think at work is hard because obviously you don't want to upset your employer because that's kind of your lifeline, and we spend most of our time working to make money to afford our homes and lifestyle. So it is hard to say it in a work environment, but there definitely has to be a balance of the work you're doing and taking on too much. And there's been times in the past where I will take on more work than the standard is, which I think is kind of normal in most work, but there is a limit where you're like, I can't handle any more than this. And um, so I'm going to bleed this back to my personal life a little bit because I was freelancing for about 2 years and I had to learn to say no again that time because at some point I'm just taking on any work. I'm like, oh, you want photos? Whatever it is I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Yes, I'll take on everything. It got to the point where I was doing so much that the quality of my work was kind of shit and I couldn't deliver
Yeah.
stuff on time. And I had to learn to say no again because as much as I want to do this and I love making the side money, I have to say no because if I don't have any free time or any time to enjoy this and my quality of work is shit, then there's no point of doing any of this. So
Right.
Yep.
saying no that's become crucial. And I'm going to say one more thing. With my job, I still was doing side work for a little bit, like the first couple of months, but I had to say no to that too. And actually, I've learned to say no because I did some side work for some realtors who were very cheap and didn't want to pay me enough. But I wanted to maintain a relationship. But I literally said no to this girl 2 days ago because she wanted me to drive to Denton, which we all live in DFW. And if you're not familiar, Denton is like probably 40 minutes away without traffic from Dallas. And she texted me at like 8 o'clock on a Friday to shoot like within the next day, within 12 hours. And it's like, one, it's not enough money. I don't want to drive that far on a Saturday. And I was like, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, just say maybe. And I'm like, you know what, just say no. And I just said, you know what, can't do it. That's it. Because past me would have explained it. Oh, I can't do it because it's too far and the money and blah blah blah. You know, and then I was just like, you know what? Sorry, I can't do it. Then it's too far. That's it. Left it at that.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
spreading yourself too thin is a real thing. Your work's suffering if you spread yourself too thin, and it just goes back to your own protecting yourself. Because being spread thin socially also is a thing too, where you're not giving you the best of yourself. And some people need more time to charge. I am
Hmm.
a
I get a
extroverted
lot.
introvert. So like my resting state is alone. You know what I'm saying? I love being around people, but I don't get that same amount of energy after a long weekend with people. Like I'm drained a little bit, even if it was the best time in the world. I need that alone time. So
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all are like that.
Yeah.
Yes. That's been the past 2 weekends for me where I honestly haven't seen many people. I haven't done a lot because, and actually, I felt okay. I had the best workout I've had this year, this morning. I think because for the first time in so long, I've had 2 weekends where I wasn't running from place to place. I wasn't seeing this person, that person. I wasn't working on my weekends. And I think my workout this morning was a direct contribution to that. And literally, I did have to say no to a lot of people this weekend. I got offered, hey, meet me here for a drink. Let's do this. Hidden Door Sunday. I got offered all of that. And I just said, nah, I'm good. And didn't explain it. And I think I got rewarded by a good workout, which made me feel even better. So,
Well,
um,
good.
yeah, take care of self. Seriously, like you
Yeah.
have to. Because again, going back to something I said earlier too, is me losing friendships. I mean, some of those friendships that were lost were because I was saying no, but I wasn't explaining. I wasn't going into detail. And sometimes the hard part about saying no is that some people don't understand it. You can try to explain it the best you can, in the most like that way of empathy of trying to get them to understand. But some people just sometimes saying no doesn't fit their lives. Like I had a friend that used to always invite me out for drinks on like a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Let's go to the Woody's for show tune night or whatever. And as I was starting this new job last year, I kept saying, "Hey, you know what? I really can't do that because every time we go out, it's 4 drinks. 4 drinks on a Tuesday. I'm not waking up tomorrow early. I'm hungover." And that friendship ended literally because of that, because our friendship was based off that. And I think outside of that, there would have been nothing else we could have maintained because he took it. I feel like he took it as, well, he's not coming out to drink with me anymore. He doesn't want to be a friend anymore. So, but I was okay losing that friendship because it didn't fit what I needed in my life at that time.
And that's fair. And just like you too, it's the same. Like as much as I like to be around people and do stuff, here and there, I really enjoy my time at home, just relaxing, not doing anything, and saying no to not feeling like getting out and about. I'm quick to like do that during the week or so. It's like if somebody asks me to do something during the week, I'm like, I'm not really feeling it. I'm just gonna chill. But I'm more open to it on the weekends. I don't want to do it every single day of the weekend because it's like, hey, one of these
Rest.
days, the weekend's already fast. I need to like chill one of these weekends and not do anything. So I've been putting that into to my life here lately. What about family, guys? Is it hard for you to say no to any requests or any demands from family members?
Not really. I think we've gotten to a good place. It's like it's never enough. You're never around your family enough. So it's like the time that I am, I try to like put my feelings in check and just be like along for the ride, right? Even if it's a couple hours longer than you wanted it to be, or if it end up going to see a movie you didn't want to see, Barbie. It's just like it's kind of. I think with family is like I've gotten to a place where I've said no a lot, and they've said no to me, and now we're just kind of like when we can find the time, we make it happen. So no, I'm good on family.
Do I have a question for you, Greg? Does your family ask you to do things um, all the time? Because I know, like, when you talk about hanging out with your family, it seems like you do a lot with your family. There's always something going on. Is it more than what you tell us about?
It's yeah. I could definitely be like going on more trips or like
Mm,
being there more. I really don't. I'm busy. I travel on the weekends. I travel for work, so I don't get to see them as much as I'd like to. But I guess I do say no quite a bit. Like this year, at least 2 trips. Yeah. So
And that's a lot because I still feel like you still spend a lot of time with your family if you're turning stuff down because you're with friends in Austin or you're with family either or. So
I mean, well, they live. You got to understand, they live 2 hours away, so that's different than y'all's parents living like states
that is
away.
true.
So
That is
it's like,
true.
yeah, the expectation is higher because it's like I live close. So
Yeah, I think it's easier for me to say no these days because I do live far away from home. I don't, and they don't get upset about it as much. Be like, okay, we get it. Like you're in Texas. Like there's only so much we can ask of you. But I know for a fact if I lived near home, then my family would ask me to do stuff all the time, and I probably would have a difficult time saying no to certain things. My family is one of those families. They'll just pop up at your house. They'll just
Mm.
come over. They'll just sometimes without calling first. So you know, and it's hard to say no to your mom or your dad, and especially when you have a good relationship with your parents. Um, but I had to get away in order to gain that confidence to be able to say no. Unfortunately, I can't come home. Unfortunately, I can't you know assist with this particular thing. um, just saying no, I mean, it comes with time, especially when it comes to family. I don't like to say no to, like, my sister if she needs something, or especially for my niece or anything like that. But I just know how much more responsibility I would have if I was to, like, be closer to family.
and that brings it to the other side of saying no, which is, can you say no too much? If the invites to the hidden doors start drying up, or your family just assumes you're going to say no if they don't invite you, like if
Yeah, that's
That's
a
a
good
really good
question.
question.
That's a
I
good
think
question.
because that's happened to me actually. I think I've
yeah,
said no too much to certain people, and then they just say "fuck it," and that's kind of also one of those things. It's like it comes with the territory properly, but at the end of the day, it's like you have to be okay with your decision,
Hmm.
and if the thing about that is if someone's willing to pull away from you because you say no too much, then that person does not need to be in your life because their priorities don't align with yours. If you have to keep
Right.
saying no constantly, so that's what I took from that, and it sucked because some people you liked, I'm like I like that person, but it's just that those things they kept asking me to do just didn't align with where I'm at right now.
Right.
So those are the friendships that aren't meant to be.
I
yeah,
agree.
truth.
100%. And it sucks sometimes having to be that person that's going to say no. Like, I think some of my friends already think that about me sometimes. Be like, hey, we're not going to invite Dom because we already know he's going to say no. And my thing is, I have a rule. If we are close friends, if we are really good friends, and that I may feel left out or something, like, send me the invite. Give me the chance to say no.
You
Like,
want to say no.
I will feel better. At least I got an invite to it and I declined instead of just like being completely left out. You
You
And
know?
know what?
you feel
That's
so left out anyways, because like Antonio's going to New Orleans this weekend, and we said no, and he's going, and now we still feel slighted.
No, it's
I
this
know.
So
situation is
you
this
can't
situation
win,
is
Tom. You
different.
can't win.
Yeah, this that situation is different only because he brought it up. We said we weren't available, and he suggested another month or weekend to go, and we never heard anything else about it. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, I am going, and our other two friends are going with me. So it's kind of different. We get to be slighted.
The way it happened was yeah. So,
It's not like we don't got shit going on. You're like
but
we have stuff going on, so it's
yeah,
okay.
but
We
everybody was
forgive you.
invited technically, so we were
I
all
actually don't
invited.
have anything going on this weekend, but Tom,
Pull,
I want
pull
to
up,
get
pull
I
up.
want to get to. I want
What's
to
up?
get to. I mean, we talk about it. People that are, and Dom, you're happily making puzzles with Memphis. So, but
Why
like,
is that so funny?
It just is.
I
Happily
mean,
making
I
puzzles
mean,
hilarious.
listen.
Wait till I finish this puzzle.
I want to see
Yeah,
it.
wait till I finish this puzzle. You guys are gonna be sorry. Like, we're gonna see how cool it looks, and we're gonna be like, we judge you. I'm so sorry. But I wanted to ask you, Tone, like saying no to somebody that's trying to hook up.
Easy. It's easy. Well, I'm very picky, and I'm turned off very easily too. So it's easy for me because if I don't want to do it, to me, sex is not just a physical thing. Like it is a physical act, but for me personally, on my own, I have to have some type of connection with the person. So, but also if I'm not into it, I'm not into it.
But you've done yeah, I guess.
It's
I
been a while though.
guess. You
Yeah, I have,
know,
but
and
not
then
recently.
I feel like that's the worst type of like if
Yeah.
maybe it's been like a long time, like say it's been a year and they hit
hmm
you up and it's just kind of like it hits you in the right time and you're kind of like, okay. And then you're
So
like immediately from the get go, like, no, this is why we
yeah,
haven't talked in a year. Like,
a year ago I could speak to that, but I don't do it anymore. I've no bullshit. I've actually turned down like there's people I hooked up with in the past couple of years that will randomly text me like I may not hear from for a couple of months. So just randomly text me out the blue. And there's one person I'm thinking about in particular, and he texted me maybe a month ago. And nothing against him. We never had a falling out. It was just the last time
he's
I
a
thought,
loyal listener. Thanks for listening.
oh, he is not. No, he's he's blocked probably. I don't know, but he messaged me, and the last time we did something, I was just like, maybe it's a me thing. You ever had sex with someone and thought, if I never did this again, I'd be okay?
Yes.
It's one of
Yeah,
those. And I remember the last time we hooked up, I was just like, I don't really need this. And it
yeah.
wasn't that it wasn't good. It's just something about it was like, I don't need to do this anymore. So whenever he hits me up, I'm just like, and then finally the last time, it was a couple months ago, he asked me, he's done this a couple times. And I just said, hey, you know what? I'm okay right now. I'm not looking for anything. And he stopped.
Okay.
Well, well, good.
Yeah.
People move on. That's the thing. You
Yeah.
know,
And in the past, I would have been like, oh, sure, I'll go knock it out, do it, whatever. But then I'm like, no, I don't want to do this. I have no reason to do it. Sorry, that's how I talk sometimes. That
yeah, your
he was
internal
just,
monologue.
oh no, yeah, he's just one of those guys. It would have just been like, all right, let me go knock this out real quick, 30 minutes, and I'll go home. But I don't need it
Well,
anymore.
well, let me ask this. So that so it's not that hard to say no to a hookup. What about the people that you were actually in relationships with? Is it hard for you to say no to your significant other?
Like someone you're actively with.
Yeah, somebody you're actively with.
That's a very good question. Okay, it's kind of a loaded question for me because the only time I've ever turned down sex with someone I've been with is because I really wasn't into them that much, or maybe I was already checked out the relationship. So outside of that, I can't speak to just a general, hey, I'm in a happy relationship, I don't want to have sex. It's just been more of people I've been falling out with or whatever.
Well,
So,
Yeah,
no, not necessarily sex. Just anything. You're in a
oh, just in
relationship with
general.
somebody, and they're
yeah.
asking you to do
We're talking
stuff
about like in the
Just
relationship when you're
in a
just
happy
relationship.
with.
In a
questions. Yeah.
relationship.
Oh
Yep.
no, I've definitely struggled with that. One thing I've done that's been I'm trying to correct whenever that next relationship happens is that you are yourself during a relationship, but sometimes you kind of adapt a little bit to that person. Things they like that you may not like, you end up doing. So I've struggled with saying no in my past relationships. But again, my last relationship ended in 2021. So it's been a while since I've been in that situation. But yes, I've struggled with saying no because you don't want to upset that person you're with.
Mm.
But and every relationship also is a little compromise. So you kind of have to do some things you don't want to do. So yeah, I've
Yeah, you
struggled.
really do. I mean, you can't.
Mm.
There's no relationship that you could be in that you just say no all the time to
Everything.
things.
Yeah.
No.
That's one area that you just for or in order to make it work, you have to say yes. Sometimes when you mean no, but I don't have any problems saying no necessarily. I feel like because also it's like that person should know you enough that and give you
Should,
the
right.
space to explain the no. I think
Yeah.
that then if they're not willing to hear you say no and give you reasons, then it's not the relation. It's like you said, Tom. They're not the friends for you. It's not the relationship
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
I think for
What about
me,
you?
me and Memphis is kind of like I think we do a pretty good job letting each other know, like yes or no, when we feel like doing something. Um, I feel like I say yes a lot sometimes, and I feel like he says no more than I say no. I'll put that out there. Um, should I feel jaded that he doesn't want to come watch me play volleyball? No, but maybe I do sometimes. But I have to understand that it's okay for someone not to always want to do something, or because I definitely say no. I don't always want to go hang out with his family or his friends sometimes. So I say no sometimes, and he does his thing, and we neither one of us have a excuse me, have a problem with that. So um, it's like you said, relationships are about compromise, and everybody wants to be in a relationship where they feel supported in whatever they're doing, or whatever they have going on, or their interest. And it's just about being able to compromise and finding that balance.
The balance of it, because compromise to a certain level, because you can over compromise to where you lose yourself, but yeah, there has to be a good compromise, but a balance where you don't do everything the person wants, they don't do everything you want, but there's a good meet in the middle where you're both happy and satisfied. Because I do think in relationships you do have to have a sense of self-identity where
Yeah.
you still got to have your own thing and your own personality, because so many couples become like one merge. And it happened to be one time where someone was, I felt like I lost one of my early relationships. I felt like I lost who I was because everything became so us and not just me as a
Mhm.
person. So yeah, saying no in a relationship is good because balance and compromise.
Yeah, for
Y'all,
sure.
y'all have inspired me. Y'all have inspired me. I'm gonna start saying no more. I'm gonna start saying no when Dom wants to record on a Monday.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, thanks everyone for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this topic. I really enjoyed this topic. This was awesome to talk about for sure. Um, does anybody have a random question for one of our listeners, or a random question
That
you
was
guys want to throw
Antonio's
out there?
assignment.
The questions I got weren't good. I don't think they really apply to us, so I'm not going to
Just
class
read them.
them.
Just that's fine. Who
Just,
sent
just,
them?
just throw one. They're random.
Would you rather? Okay. Would you rather own a yacht or a private jet?
I mean,
Um,
that's a random question for sure.
Maybe.
yeah, it's a
Okay.
private jet, 100% though. I mean, the ocean's terrifying. I don't want to end up like I don't want to end like the submersible guys where everybody's clowning on me as I'm like suffocating.
What about you,
Um,
Dom?
I'm gonna go yacht. Yeah,
So
really
why
Really?
yacht?
a really nice yacht. Like, I enjoy cruises. I enjoy being on big boats. And having my own yacht with my own service people. And I don't know, having friends come and party on my yacht, and I think that would be like really awesome. Just going to the Mediterranean, and I don't know, hell,
Where
it
would
just
you dock
sounds
it?
fun. But who knows? I'll find somewhere nice to dock my yacht. Where rich people dock their yachts, that's where mine will be.
Miami, or
And
Padre.
if I have the yacht and Greg has the private jet, then I can just use his private jet. I
We're
mean,
set. Yeah, we could do a
we're set.
tradesies.
Yeah. What about you, Antonio?
We'd be like, hey, do you want to take? Do you want me? Do you want to take my jet, or do you want to take your yacht? We'll flip a coin.
I would take the jet because, all right, here's the thing: the jet's going to be comfortable year round, whether it's summer, 110 degrees like in Texas, or if it's the cold of winter, you can go anywhere, anytime. So it leaves you the ability to go anywhere within a couple hours, and you don't have to deal with TSA, customs, and some baby crying or some drunk lady saying that motherfucker's not real in the back of the plane. You know. So I would do a private jet for sure.
I don't know. Something about like, what if the pilot is like tired and stuff? Like, I'm already not a great flyer, so I don't really need a private jet.
Oh, but
I'll have too many concerns.
we've already established we'd have our own staff. So you'd
Okay.
have a flight
Yeah.
attendant on your private jet. You'd have a pilot that you paid full time, and
Personal
you'd pick.
service,
Yeah,
got
you'd
your own
pick the.
bathroom.
You got your own Wi-Fi. You got
You
all
could
that
join the
shit.
Mile High Club
Join the. Oh, yeah, that would
a
be a
lot
must.
easier. A
Yeah,
lot
that would be
easier
a
because
must. And it's just like, do you want to join the bottom of the ocean club or the Mile High Club?
I mean, I wouldn't.
Um,
Oh,
I mean, I don't like getting
fucking on the boat
on
sounds fun.
planes now, so I feel like if
Really?
I had my own plane, I wouldn't. People with private planes be walking around and like That's just a lot of
Yeah, it's
moving
comfortable.
for me. That's just sit down. You're making me nervous. Sit down. Don't move. Enjoy the flight, and let's just get to our destination. Like, it's just too much for me. Who was that question from?
Oh yeah, good point. I want to shout out my special friend Chris, who I texted before the podcast with that question. So my friend Chris submitted that question.
Does
Shout
he
He,
out
has
to
he
Chris.
shout out to Chris. We love Chris. What did he does he listen?
yeah,
Oh, perfect. And you said it
Yeah,
was a
yeah.
really stupid. You said it was a
yeah.
really stupid question before you read it. So
Can we
thank you
can
for
we
the
edit that?
stupid question, Chris.
Can we edit that part out?
It's in there now. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
in there. Keep it in.
But yeah,
Wait, are you
But
shout
reading
yeah,
the
out
second
to.
question,
Oh, you want
no,
to
I'm
read
not
Chris?
gonna
another one?
read it.
Oh,
No, he had a second one, but I don't. It doesn't apply to me at all. It's just I'll read it. Why not? Uh, his second question was: if you could meet one of these two people, which one would it be? Paris Hilton or Kim Kardashian?
Kim, duh.
Kim, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kim. I feel like she actually has like some good business intuition, or she could actually have like a good conversation about something. So
Yeah,
she's got the tea though. You know, she would
yeah.
talk shit.
I'm gonna ask her the stupidest, not the stupidest one, but like the most invasive question I could think of. Like,
about Kanye,
how is Kanye in bed? Truly,
that's a good question
truly,
actually.
because you stayed and you had multiple kids with this man. Like,
Well, they were insurgents, so she didn't really have half the kids. So
okay,
Her,
Antonio.
they did turkey baster. She didn't. She literally did not birth like some of those kids. They're her
but it's
eggs.
still
Though.
her eggs.
Yeah, like some women have to go different alternatives. There's nothing wrong
She
with
just
that,
said
Antonio.
Okay,
she didn't want to
Tone,
ruin her brand deals for Spanx. That's all she did.
Tone
Where's that?
coming
Where's
out of
that
his
list I
idea.
have? Where
What
is it?
list?
For the audience out there, I have a running list of things Antonio doesn't like.
I didn't say I
Put
didn't like
I'm
anything.
surrogacy,
Now,
gonna
put surrogacy on the
surrogacy. Yes, I got you.
bottom
I'm
of the
putting that
list,
on
whoa,
there.
notes
whoa!
edition, and
I didn't say I didn't like it.
underline drag shows.
Yes,
Unnatural
please put that
births.
Jackson
I
on
got
there.
Put
you.
drag shows like 5 times.
Yes, because I don't like it, but
Okay,
I
got you.
support it. I support it. I just don't like it. Don't
Well,
invite me
Do
to drag
you
show.
do you support it?
listen. I like you, but I don't support you. So
Fair.
it's
I'm
the
not gonna
opposite.
stop. I'm not
It's
gonna
the
stop you from being you and making money.
Okay,
I'm not gonna give you my money. That's all it is, and that's fair.
there you go.
Take out the
There you go.
emotion. It's all good.
Cleared it up. He'll apologize for surrogacy later.
No, no, I won't.
Oh my gosh, you are unhinged. Okay, everybody, thank you for listening to this episode. We got 2 more episodes before we take a break. And the last episode of the season, we have something big planned. So continue listening. You guys are going to enjoy it. If you like to submit a random question, you can hit us up on Twitter or email. Our Twitter is letmefinishpod03 and our email is letmefinish03@gmail.com. Until next time, everybody.
Peace.
See you next time, next week.